democratic right without being intimidated, harassed, or threatened. It is important to highlight and ensure communities that normal crime prevention and policing operations will continue during the duration of the elections. One of our biggest threats at the moment is fake news. We strongly condemn the spreading of fake news, unverified information, rumors, or threats, as this seeks to cause panic and confusion, and in some instances incite possible violence. We urge members of the public to fact check first before sharing anything on social media platforms. Those who are found to be sharing inflammatory messages and inciting violence will be charged accordingly. We therefore urge a prompt reporting of these incidents to ensure that law enforcement deals with such issues. One person has already appeared in Chatsworth Magistrate Court on charges of contravening the Riotous Assemblies Act 17 of 1956, which prohibits gatherings that could endanger public space or public peace. We are making a clarion call on political leaders to be responsible in the manner in which they communicate on public platforms. We have noted an increase in number of service delivery related protests. To mitigate this, increased policing visibility through the deployment of the public order policing units have been made to potentially volatile areas to address large crowds. We will continue to work closely with key role players to monitor developments and to attend to them. I must reiterate that we all know that we have adopted in May 2023 what we call Operation Chanela. Those operations are continuing and they will continue even during this period to ensure that crime prevention in our areas continues without any disturbance. Law enforcement agencies are on the ground and will continue to apply fundamental policing principles guided by the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. Every law enforcement officer has a responsibility and an obligation to execute their mandate professionally, impartially, and with integrity, and to do so within the confines of the law of the country. Law enforcement officers are apolitical and will enforce the law without fear, favor, or prejudice. With this said, the message is clear. The NATJOINTS, with the help of law-abiding citizens, is ready to ensure the safety and security of the 2024 general elections. I thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant General Tebelo Musikidi, the co-chair of the NATJOINTS. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome, who has just joined us, Major General Sizani from the SANDF. He is a co-chair of the NATJOINTS. Let me also welcome a representative from the SSA, who has also joined us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's quite clear. Law enforcement officers, agencies are on the ground to attend to any eventuality, and we are ready to police the 2024 elections. I will now open the floor for questions. I'll take the first three. Remember to identify yourself in the media house that you represent. Let's start with Heidi. Thank you. Next question.
My name is Hemen
Last one for this round. All right, we'll start off with General Musikidi to respond, and then we'll hand it over to General Sizani on behalf of.
You'll assist me with questions in case I have not captured all. But on the first question of the provinces, which is a big concern, the country is a big concern for us. Although we do have those provinces that previously had problems, so they will remain our focus areas. Not that this time around there is something on those provinces, but because of the past experiences, which when we develop the plan, we look at the previous, we'll also look at the current intelligence, the climate, the maturity of our electorates, and we planned accordingly. So I don't want to downplay any of our 9 provinces to say this one is better than the other, but we do have different levels of our focus in those. On the same breath, to also answer the question on the number of identified high-risk voting stations, we have more than 650 of such, more than 650. But that number can change at any time, as and when we collect, as you have heard, that throughout all the 3 phases of our implementation of this plan, we do recognize the intelligence reports and we act accordingly. So the numbers can change, can be more or can be less as we are getting closer to the time. During my statement or the initial statement, I did indicate that there will be areas where we will feel that we need to be supported. But I need to reiterate, we are not a country at war to itself. We cannot at this stage confirm that we are going to deploy SANDF. We have a lot of law-abiding citizens, but we cannot also not think of the last question of the worst case scenario. If that is experienced, we will request the assistance of our colleagues at the South African National Defence Force, and we'll look at the areas where we can deploy them and relieve deployments at those areas to come and assist them domestically. Numbers, for security reasons, as it was said, I can't tell that I'm going to deploy 5 members, but be rest assured that our plan is looking at all possible scenarios. We have taken a drill exercise to look at any possible scenario, including natural disasters. We have our colleagues in the National Disaster Management, they are on high alert. The man-made disasters, we will respond accordingly. I said in the week that what happened in George, as and when we were preparing ourselves, taking different scenarios, was one good example to check how fit and our muscle in responding. And that incident was responded to professionally. All resources were there, including the communities that woke up and said, we want to assist. So we are sure that even this time we will receive the same support as law enforcement, as different departments, to respond to any eventuality should it arises. Atlanta, I don't think I have any.
General, thank you. We'll now take General Senzani from the SANDF.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Co-Chair. Once again, colleagues, I'm Major General Senzani, Joint Operations in the SANDF. You've asked a very important question in terms of the numbers. How many SANDF members will be deployed for the election? Colleagues, all I can reiterate here from the Co-Chair first is that we are not a country at war. We are a country that is having an enduring peace. SANDF has prepared and will be prepared to deploy as and when they are required by the police. I must mention that in terms of the support to IEC as part of this collective effort, SANDF have also prepared airframes, helicopters to assist. Therefore, SANDF will be ready as and when it is required in support of the police. I thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. As you've heard it, we will not be giving out any numbers, but be rest assured that we are prepared and we have sufficient personnel on the ground to respond to any eventuality. Any more questions from the floor? Let's take three, and then online. Online, GCIS, do we have any questions online? Let me check first. Okay. All right, let's start off in the room, and then thereafter, in the third round, we'll take the online questions. Over to you. Can you speak up? Okay, next question. Calvin, go ahead.
Thank you very much. My name is Calvin. I'm from the SAPC. My question is to the South African Police Service. The City Press newspaper says there is a possible election violence. They say they have an intelligence threat analysis that has raised an alarm that certain elections may be met by violence, intimidation, and even boycott in some parts of the country. My question is, if you have programs to train your personnel for crowd control, dispute resolution, among other things?
Okay, thank you. Any other question? Okay, I think, General, we can respond to those two on the truck driver strike, on the role of private security, as well as the intelligence report. And then thereafter, we'll then take Dagalani on the online questions. General?
Thank you very much once more. There is a question from Raymond and Calvin. The possibility to call private security to assist if the need arises. Yes, we will engage them. We have worked with them. We have a partnership as the law enforcement to work with the private security companies. We call it E2 project that will continue. As I've indicated, that we will continue with our crime prevention operations if the need arises that we need to remove our crime prevention officials to man the elections. We will do so, and we will then get other agencies and other partners to cover other areas that we will have to reduce the numbers. On the question of the engagement with the truck drivers, yes, various departments that are relevant have done so. They are continuing to do so. and we shall continue to do so if required through the joint structures. On the last question, Kelvin, on the city press, I will not get involved in what city press is saying. I don't know what intelligence is that. All that I know is that the intelligence report are privy to the structures where they are presented. If any other person does so, perhaps he has the right, he was given the right to do so, but I doubt, because the intelligence reports are classified and cannot be with any other structure other than the South African Police Service. But we have our own plans in accordance with what was presented to the NATJOINTS. We are planning on what is presented to the NATJOINTS, not what is presented on the papers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, General, for clarifying that. As you've heard, colleagues, we don't engage on intelligence reports. They are confidential and they are classified. And as well as the important role that the private security play. Remember, we work with private security on a continuous basis. They are our force multipliers. They act as our eyes and our ears on the ground. In online questions, Takalani? You may proceed. Do we have?
Thank you, President. The question is covered. It was on the issue of truck drivers. I think it was covered from the floor. Thank you.
Okay, it's only one question. Any other question? I think on the issue of the truck drivers, General made it quite clear that we are not going to allow any lawlessness. We're not going to allow any intimidation, threats, and closure of any of our roads. Any more questions? If one, two, going once, twice. Well, thank you so much, colleagues. Last? Okay, do we have? Calvin? Okay, last. Yes, proceed.
How can it not be Natal affect to be key battlegrounds? Because all political parties are ramping up their campaign in those provinces. Are you going to add more resources on those provinces so that we can avoid any disruption on election?
Thank you, Calvin. In any other time of our operations, we all know that we have these 5 main provinces that are having high crime rates that are reported over and above the issues of elections. I have indicated earlier that we look at what is currently happening in the country, what intelligence reports we have, and we respond accordingly. So all 9 provinces with its own dynamics is going to be attended to. In terms of resources, we cannot overstretch some and underestimate others. So we look at those threat assessments that will come, the number of voting stations at each, and we deploy accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant General Tebelo Musikidi. Let me also thank the co-chair of the NATJOINTS, Major General Sizani. Let me also thank our Divisional Commissioner for Visible Policing and Operations for her presence here this morning, as well as the SSA representative. I choose not to mention the SSA representative by name for security reasons. Thank you so much, colleagues, and this calls the end of our media briefing for this morning. Thank you.